day gone bad, again, for Jeff Gordon in this chase. Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano for 6th place. While Kevin Harvick has opened up about 10 car lengths on Kyle Busch for the race lead.
What makes this sport so great, we just didn't see Harvick show anything that would give us any idea that even though this is a great racetrack for him, that they had found enough stuff that would get them in this position. Got to hand it to Gil Martin, the crew chief. He must have made some really good adjustments.
Jeff Gordon was shown the black flag. He's turning Clint Bowyer into the wall, collecting Joey Logano. Caution flag is out. Almirola slides in. Did the leader take the white flag before the caution came out?
Step into the garage, straight, right? Fire's gone, fire's gone. Yeah, the fire's back.
Late lapse retaliation.
Fire if you want to stop right there. There's a fire truck that gets to you if you stop right there.
Checking with NASCAR, the caution was out before the white flag. We're not done with this race yet.
No, it's down now, it's down. You're good. Just stay on.
Boom to the hay, all you sports fans out there in the Tubosphere. Welcome to the One Man Sports Rant, Gen 2.0. I am your juggling act, Will, the alternative ESPN sports thrill. So which of the big three are we going to be talking about today, other than what the title suggests? That'll be coming up soon. Don't change the channel. There's plenty of sports highlights coming up. The reason I say that, I looked at the average attention span, videos in the past, 2 minutes. Well, it takes more than 2 minutes in the past to get this show going. Maybe I wasn't clear enough, alright? We're not talking no 30-second clip either, or a $1.14, or even a $1.59. You know, the beauty of doing a show is you end up with a significantly, still slight and brief, longer highlight reel than all those other ones that I just mentioned that are all over YouTube. That's not the goal of this show here. Now, how is that possible? It's a little thing called the DCMA, which we adhere to strictly around here. The Digital Copyright Millennium Act. As the key tenets were hashed out as it pertains to YouTube more than ever. Really came about because of the Napsters of the world. Through WIPO, World Intellectual Property Organization. And these are the fair use standard, derivatives, minimal use, no money exchange in hands, because the OMSR is a pro bono production. So I understand if a show's not your cup of tea. You can always fast forward on average 8 minutes, you know, thereabouts. We try to do at least 6 minutes worth of highlights. There. So you can go, do I have anybody's attention at this point? I'm in at 43. Plus the intro, so that's my 2 minutes. I guess I'm up. I may not be talking to anybody. I'm not sure. I'm not dissing you guys watching now. I'm talking about how it was in the past. Alright, so you heard from Motley Crue. It's going to be our lead-in to for a while, and are introduced by our Pi Kappa Alpha House Sweethearts, U of U chapter, Alpha Tau. Giving you props. So, yeah, all of these things being said, one more very important thing. This show is copyrighted to the OMSR with brief video highlights courtesy to CBS, NBC, ABC, ESPN, Pac-12 networks, and or any of their affiliates. The OMSR does not own these video highlights, but does own all the other original content and the overall concept herein, thereof, therefore, most rights reserved. Now, one more note, to change it up a little bit. All images not of OMSR provenance were obtained through the public domain. Now, anybody out there going, hey, you're sort of like using that without our permission, we want you to take it down, watch my dust. But everything done on this show is within the confines of the defines of the aforementioned DCMA. Alright, so before we get to it in the clipboard, what is the sports subject we are talking about specifically, other than what the title says? Yeah, so continuing on with analysis, which you won't hear anywhere else on YouTube. Everyone's just throwing up the clip, and I'm a little bit late, I realized, but I was burned out yesterday, and I wanted to think about what to say about this succinctly to get you all to pay attention. Not the best of ways for two of the sport's premier dudes, although it's not Clint's fault so much, but anyhow, to be behaving in a sport that's a big fan favorite of veterans on Veterans Day. Like I said in the opening graphic, it's a very dangerous sport to be trying to get a little or dish out a little payback. You know, because of the logistics and the scale and the size of NASCAR, obviously, it's really cool when it's happening and exciting. When things go bad, they really go bad. And so, on the Life Rant Sports Rant of the Day, if you've never seen this show before, which I assume maybe a lot of you NASCAR types haven't. It's a little bit we do carried over from Generation 1. You know, this is the one-man sports rant after all, so you can figure that part out, the LRSR. The track is the problem. I recall from last year when I started covering NASCAR in Generation 1 that it was the best of the last of the 3 races that I covered because there were so many restarts. They did a better job of filming them. But I noticed this year that you crank it up at the restart on that track and then you're having to slow down within 4 to 5 seconds. It's too short. You see, it's 312 laps to get to that distance. If I recall, with the Texas 500, it was just a little over 200 or something like that. So, you know, in Indies like that as well, the point being, you have 312 laps versus 200. That's 30% more turns. Or in human terms, of the turns, it's 4 times 112. That's 448 more turns that have to be done on that lap. And as it was building up to this moment, which sort of seemed at the end of the race was just going to be maybe a little bit ho-hum, it was clear, you know, what was going on, who was probably going to win out. The things that we were going to be able to show were all of the other restarts, or 4 out of 5 of them at least, were due to bumping into the wall out of turn 4. And the guys were even talking about it. You know, here we go again. So most of the restarts were because of that. The track needs to just be taken out of NASCAR, I think. Of course, it could be used for other style racing. But it's too narrow. It's too short. You can't get a good get up and go from the restarts because you have to slow down, you know, 4 to 5 seconds after, as I just alluded to. I don't mean to be redundant. And how about Jeff Gordon? You hear the crew chief for CLINT BOWYER talk about how there's a, you know, there's a true act of a champion. Yeah, so you have to wonder why was Jeff Gordon taking so long to get off the track. It's like he almost took a whole lap around. I guess he was waiting for, what's CLINT BOWYER's number, 18? Number 18 to come up in his rear view. And you hear them say, he was been given the black flag. Obviously, I mean, I'm not the biggest NASCAR expert in the world, but the black flag would seem to me like, hey, you need to get your butt off the track. What are you dilly-dallying for, right? So that's the problem. Get rid of that track out of NASCAR, and especially the race for the chase. You need better, longer, safer tracks for everybody. And then, of course, you know, at the end, after all that rigmarole, the way it ended was even more terrific. In the sense of not terrific good, but terrific like, what? Gotta be kidding me. Yeah, get rid of the Phoenix 500 International, or Phoenix International Raceway. There's my 2-minute warning, so I don't go wrong time. Alright, so we'll go back to our music leading to Motley Crue, Girls, Girls, Girls. So let's just simply say, thanks for watching from Gen 2.0. Later days, more signature plays.
Mayhem in the late laps here at Phoenix. You saw the first incident. They cut the tire with Jeff Gordon, put him into the wall. He basically waited on CLINT BOWYER to come around and took him out.
All this happening right in front of Brad Keselowski, and he was racing Joey Logano, and I was afraid they were going to get caught up, or Brad was going to get caught up into it. He somehow got through it.
Jeff has been summoned to the NASCAR hauler for a post-race visit.
They said they were going to let them have at it. That's having at it right there. That's a year's worth of frustration.
Oh, conflict. cruiser in it. Somewhere in the middle of that is Jeff Gordon.
CLINT BOWYER wants his opportunity at this. Can't really blame him.
That's stupid.
Got in the oil there and couldn't get his car under control. You see Clint, he's trying to figure out which way to go. He knows that Jeff's mad. Thought maybe his best shot was to go
Still
there.
there. Still there.
Jeff is just very determined to take care of business.
That was a real act of a champion. You okay there?
Only word I can think of is ugly. Ugly situation.